I'm so sorry.
See what happens when you wait? You get something better than you.
You got it.
All right.
I'm so sorry about that.
All right. Are we recording?
Yes, we are.
All right. And
So you got that bird?
yes, that was the whole point. I missed the earring stab scream, and I got the burp. I think we win with the burp.
you know what? I think we just need to go right into the episode.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to So Fresh, So Prince. We are so happy to have you here for this episode 4. It is a momentous occasion because we have our first special guest. So please help me welcome the wonderful Giovonnie Samuels.
Applause sound here. Applause sound here.
Hello, everyone. I do believe you guys heard my mouth flatulence earlier.
I believe we call it a belch.
A belch?
Yeah, it's just a burp.
Just a
That's
burp.
all it is.
It's
a human thing. We
it's
can go into
natural.
the scientific.
No, it's okay.
I don't think
It's all right.
I don't
No,
think
it's
that's what
okay.
we're here for.
That's not what-
I think we are here for a podcast.
Yes, we are.
And we should focus on that.
I
So,
absolutely agree.
Giovonnie, I am very, very excited that we get to have you here today because not only are you an incredibly talented actress,
Aw,
comedian,
yeah.
veteran of the multicam sitcom genre,
Yeah.
Insert
Yes.
applause in all of those places.
Thank you so much.
but is it not true that you are a Kids' Choice Award winner?
I am 2003.
And was that not the same year that Will Smith himself won the Kids' Choice Wannabe Award?
Yes, it is.
So you have that connection. You have brought us 1 degree away from Will Smith. I mean, basically, I don't want to spoil the pooch, but I think next week Will himself will be on the episode thanks to you.
That's kind of the hope every week, that once you get the stamp of approval, I mean, then it's free reign, right?
Yeah.
We keep tweeting at him. He doesn't have a Twitter, but we keep using the hashtag Will Smith in hopes that 1 week he'll just show up. And if he does, we'll be ready for him.
Well,
Absolutely.
Have you tried his child, Jaden?
I'm afraid of what happens, and I say this with all due respect.
Let's not go through the children. That's not the best way.
It's like, I feel like if I started tweeting at Jaden, he would respond something along the lines of, "How can you have a podcast in a world where you do not have a voice?"
Yeah, he's been on a.
Hey, he's just very enlightened. That's all it is.
That is the perfect word.
He's
for
not
it.
he's not
Very
thinking
enlightened.
on our wavelength.
No.
Well, he's also 17, and you pair that with the fact that if I had a Twitter account or a YouTube account when I was 17, I think the world would have plenty to mock me for, because I definitely thought I knew everything at 17. I didn't, but I thought I did.
Okay, yeah.
It's a start, though.
It is a start. I will say they the Smith kids are on another plane.
Yes.
Period.
Enlightened.
They are very enlightened, very ahead of their time, but they need just a tad bit of reality, just for a smidge.
I mean, but what reality do they live in?
I
that
mean,
is a good point. I don't.
if their
I don't
parents
know.
don't understand, parents just don't
Parents just
understand.
don't understand.
So we shouldn't try.
But we're not parents, though.
Not yet.
Nah, I won't receive that.
Okay.
And moving on.
If you're just joining us, this is So Fresh, So Prince, the only podcast talking about Will Smith's greatest television achievement, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
Giovonnie has joined us to discuss episode 3, the third episode of the show. Now, since this is our first episode with a guest, Giovonnie, would you please recap the episode for our listeners?
All right. So in this episode, Will happens to, of course, fall for a beautiful dame, but the dad, named Dr. No,
Dr. No.
Dr. No, says no to every gentleman that tries to come and talk to his daughter. Some pretty fine gentlemen there in the country club, upstanding men, got a good education, very proper, looked like they just stepped out of a J. Crew catalog,
So, something like that. That's how they scream when they're scared, It's not a very manly
Not a
scream.
very manly
You can't
scream
yell in the
at
country
all.
club.
No,
No.
you also can't drive golf carts in the country club.
You cannot drive
Didn't
golf
stop
carts.
them, but
Did not stop them at all. So, of course, Will being Will, he's like, man, I can holler at that honey anytime. And, of course, Carlton is like, I'm going to have to tell you no there.
One more time.
I thought that was a pretty good Carlton.
I just
agree.
need you to project.
One more. I'm going to have to tell you no there.
Spot on.
Spot on. That was my best when I practiced.
that is your best young Republican. I don't think we can ask any more of you.
No, not at all. So, of course, they're going back and forth saying, you're not a gentleman. So they try to teach Will how to be the perfect gentleman for Dr. No's daughter. Jeffrey gets involved. Uncle Phil gets involved. Of course, he goes over the top in Will Smith fashion. They finally get him to be the perfect gentleman by picking out a shrimp fork. They believe he's done it.
Yes.
So he approaches the dad. He's like, all right, Carlton will come up with a scheme like, all right, you're from Connecticut. You are on the row team. Who rows? I don't know.
Hey.
Winklevoss's row.
Hey.
Winklevoss's do row.
See, it's a whole part
That
of
is
a different club.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have like row and stuff growing up where I went. I went to a performing arts school, so no, we didn't have a football team, let alone a basketball team. But we had cheerleaders for some strange reason. Anyway, so they...
Wait, hold on.
Don't. Hey, I
was
know
trying
it's
to let that
confusing.
slide.
I know it's confusing. There's some moments you just gotta let happen.
I have this image in my head of the cheerleaders doing a pre-show before the musical. I mean,
Well,
Hey, even actors need inspiration.
I agree,
Hey,
but
They need to be
cheerleaders
aggressive.
At my
BB,
school, speaking
aggressive.
of San Diego School of Creative and Performing Arts.
Plug.
Woo, woo. Yes, I'm plugging my alma mater. We had cheerleaders that were only there for like prep rallies, and I think they went to competitions, but if you wanted to play a sport or anything, you had to go to you had to play for a different school, even though we went to a performing arts school.
got it. So the people who went to your school had not necessarily the young Republican caliber, but
No.
probably a very similar country club mentality to what Will was trying to ascribe
Yes,
to.
he was trying to be something that he wasn't, which was the theme of the show.
Yes.
So, anywho, he finally deceives the father. And the father thinks, oh, this is a great candidate for my daughter. He meets all the checklists. But the daughter, Mimi, she wants rough and tug from the streets. Bang, bang, killer, killer. Why I said that, I don't know.
Just let it happen.
Just let it happen. So he's like, baby, that's me. That's what I am. That's what I is. And it, of course, backfires. And then he goes to Aunt Viv, and she's like, yo, just be yourself. Just be yourself. That's who you are. That's how you get the ladies. You went to everybody else, try to get the advice, except for the lady in the house. Right. Should I talk about the B story?
We can absolutely talk about the B story. Go for it.
Hillary, in the midst of all this, in her wonderful bubble of Chanel.
Great. That is a great
That is wonderful.
explanation. That is
She, in her bubble of Chanel, she is trying to get ready for this glacial. What is
Save the glaciers.
Save the glaciers. Whatever BS Pep Riley thing that they're trying to
Raise
spend
awareness
raise
and money
awareness
for.
and money for in Hollywood. It still happens today. It's rather sad. But anywho, she's like, I finally found the perfect alligator shoes for my
Save the Everglades.
Save the Everglades. Oh, I know so many people like that. It's really sad. But anywho, so she's trying to get her outfit all together, and she finally gets the right shoes, and her other vapid Barbie friend, they're like, oh, it was so touching and deeply moved, and oh, I couldn't believe how Tom Cruise shed a tear, and oh, he totally looked hot at the same time. Did he look hot? Oh my god, he totally looked amazing. back to the vapidness. Back to storyline A. Finally, I lost my train of thought.
So Will decides he needs to go super gangster.
Right. Will decides. He's like, oh, I'm going to toughen him up. I am from the penitentiary. I used to rap for
2 Live Crew.
That's what I was going to say. 2 Live Crew. You don't know who they are? They're amazingly ratchet. Like, they were the 90s ratchet. They were the
original
the
ratchet.
original ratchet, yes. So she's like, yo, of course, Mimi, she falls in love with it. She loves it. But now, Will is trying to play the whole tough gangster with her, and then the dad walks in, and he's got to flip back to Mr. Connecticut dude that plays Roe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. He's bouncing
Yep.
back and forth, and of course, all that comedicness goes out there in the 3-camera show. And he finally just gives up. He's like, yo, I just want to be myself. This is all I'm tired. It's all this work for this girl. It ain't worth it. And of course, Will gets distracted, sees another honey, and walks away.
And then gets punched in the eye.
Of course.
Now, at the end of it, just to clarify a little bit, because I feel like they ended the show a bit abruptly, but he ends on a monologue where he's talking to Jeffrey wearing his sunglasses. And he says, I went to this girl, I was totally myself, I was completely authentic. And then he realized that being authentic gets him punched in the eye. So I think we can pretty much agree that the moral of this episode is that being yourself means you're going to get your ass kicked, right?
In some situations. I mean, isn't that how he ended up in Bel Air in the first place?
Well, no. I mean, his mother got scared because of one little fight that he got into.
They were just picking on her baby.
On him because he was himself.
Yep.
See? So how I brought that in?
I see that.
There it is. That was a stretch, but yes.
So, to begin this episode, we see Hillary doing a very vapid, judgmental motion with her best friend, who I'm pretty sure was Vanna White.
You know what? I'm not going to confirm or deny that, but I'm not going to say that I didn't think it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say I didn't.
Definitely looked like it.
It's
a
so
very young Vanna.
So Hillary and Vanna White are sitting there and making fun of everyone. Oh, look at her shoes. Oh, look at her dress. And then, of course, Vanna White goes and says, oh, look at that fat guy. At which point Hillary says, that's my father.
Well, more specifically, Nell Carter. Shout out to Nell Carter, wherever you are. We love you, though.
A blessed memory, Nell Carter.
Oh, rest in pieces.
And then Hillary says, oh my God, you're awful. I hate you. I never want to see you again. Vanna White apologizes and is immediately forgiven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
That's that real friendship right there. You've never gotten into a fist fight with your best friend and then went to the mall?
Well, no. I didn't go to the mall, but we went and got pizza afterwards.
I mean, it's the same thing, Sometimes you got to have that drag out fight, and then it's like, you're still alive? I'm still alive? Yeah. All right, cool.
Well, this drag out fight was, of course, broken up in true first season of The Fresh Prince fashion by Will and Carlton driving into the country club on a golf cart.
Of course. And
that's classy.
It's one of my life goals. I definitely want to do that.
You want to ride through a country club, dining hall, in a golf cart?
Yes, at least one point in life. Not my first day at the country club because I want to be invited back. I'll probably wait about 5 years and then like on my 5-year anniversary I'll do it because then they'll just be like, oh, that's that guy. Well, yeah, we shouldn't have him back.
Actually, there's a really easy way to do it at country clubs because I've seen this happen before.
Do tell.
All you have to do is say, all right, I'm going to donate $50,000 to the country club.
Then you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, it's just all you have to let me do is I want a golf cart for a day and I can drive it anywhere.
But do you have to have the money and or the check written out?
You at some point will need
have to pay
for it.
Yeah.
Or actually in alternative ways, you can also say to them, I can get you X, Y, and Z musician to come in.
I think I'm gonna go with Plan B.
It's less money out of your pocket.
Yeah, it's a little bit more clout too. They might invite me back. I might just be like a wild musician.
And they will absolutely. I mean, I've seen that happen before at country clubs where musicians have said, I don't feel like paying my country club dues this year. Why don't I put on a concert? You can sell tickets. You'll make a lot more than I would pay in my dues. Why don't we just do that? And
I like the way you think. Let's go to every country club with all of your ideas.
Yes,
as soon as we're done here, that's what we're gonna do.
I think that's a field trip we can all agree upon.
Straight on to Bel Air, everybody.
Straight on to Bel Air.
So we'll let you know how that goes next week, everyone. But back to the episode. Obviously, Uncle Phil then tries to drive the golf cart out of the country club.
But did you notice he looked a little rough? Why was he covered in grass stains and had a knee brace? Like, what happened to Uncle Phil?
I'm assuming, and Lorenzo backed me up, that he and Aunt Viv got a little freaky on the 9th hole.
I'm going to go with the 17th. That's farther away,
Okay.
It's got some bushes.
Okay.
She looked just fine.
Well, women hide it a lot better than men,
It's true.
Men, it's just, if I can pull my pants back up and walk, that's a victory.
Doesn't take much.
Well,
hey, no, not too much.
I mean, that's the old Eddie Murphy piece where he explained men are dogs, and when dogs, they jump out of the yard, they run and they tear up the garbage can and they knock over all the bags and drag garbage down the street. And then women are cats, and when they jump out of the yard, they just jump out and they come. And it's like, oh, did I do something wrong?
Well,
kind of like that. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Well,
So Uncle Phil backing out the golf cart gave an opportunity for a character who I'm assuming was named Whitey McWhiteman to come in and say, Phil, you're not supposed to have a golf cart in here.
And Uncle Phil gives him a very begrudged look.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just Uncle Phil's look all season 1.
With that mustache.
Yes, that mustache.
You can't let that mustache just be.
I can't, because the show didn't hit its stride. They are throwing so much spaghetti up against the wall because they have no idea what to do with half these characters. They keep giving Hillary these long and rambling hoity-toity monologues.
Yeah, she had some serious monologues that meant absolutely nothing.
And then they all get turned around and have her just have a vapid moment.
Yeah.
It's like in 3 episodes, they've done it 3 times. They're still trying to figure out everything that's going on. And I don't know what took them so long to say, James, we think that maybe you'd look better if you had a full beard.
Nah, that's a big man. You can't go up against the man in his mustache that I've already blocked out of my head. I just see Uncle Phil with the beard.
But it's not that difficult. The producers just go to him and say, okay, James, you have 2 options.
I'll sit on you. And that's probably how it
Done.
is. That's probably
End of conversation.
You know what?
Right
We'll just let
there.
you keep it for now.
Yeah, this is how it's going to be. Okay?
Or in great producer fashion, we'll just revisit this later, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I've heard that before on a show. Like, hey, can you know? Okay, let's just revisit this a little bit later, Giovonnie. It's going to be all right.
But I'm sorry, I cut you off. I cut you off. You as you were saying.
Yes. So Uncle Phil and his mustache, which he refused to get rid of, were backing out of the country club in a golf cart, and Whitey McWhiteman says, Phil, you're not supposed to have a golf cart in the country club.
Laugh track here.
Exactly. Which gives us the immediate jump to our love interest, Mimi, showing up for the first time. Now, I am assuming that Mimi is supposed to be of a similar age to Will and Carlton. She did not look 17. She was very beautiful.
Right.
But she was clearly pushing 30.
Yeah.
Hey, well, and also 17 is a very deceptive age. Anything 17, you don't really want to mess with that.
Yeah.
It's too close to 25 to life.
Well, isn't that the Chris Rock line? If a girl says she's 20 and looks like she's 16, she's 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, awkward. But that leads us to her father, who his character name is Dr. No, but as far as I'm concerned, it's Richard Roundtree. He's Shaft.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Shaft.
Yeah.
It's saying it twice. It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He will forever be Shaft.
Her father in this episode is Shaft.
He had a very distinctive mustache as well.
But that's Shaft. Like Shaft.
Yeah, but he didn't quite have the Shaft mustache. It was a different kind of stash.
Well, it's Shaft in a country club form. You know, you can't have Shaft in your country club. Just
Why
pure
not?
Shaft.
Well, it's like you don't have Woody Allen without his glasses.
Exactly.
You know, you don't have Shaft without his mustache.
There it is.
Okay. I'm pretty sure the country club would have cleared out if Shaft just showed up. Like, if Shaft showed up in true Shaft form, everybody, you know what, Bridget? Today let's just go out of the country. Just today. Matter of fact, how long is he going to be here? A whole week? Okay, let's just go to Italy for a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
No questions asked. When
Nope.
Shaft shows up, all the white people leave.
It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we're afraid of Shaft. We're more afraid of Richard Roundtree than we are of Samuel L. Jackson, though. So we learned that Shaft's character is named Dr. No because everyone who tries to ask out his daughter is
Rejected.
completely. He loves to say no to everyone. Now, Will, being the honorary young 17-year-old that he is, decides that he must overcome this no, which gives us our plot line for this story. So he decides that, well, if I am going to, say, get this girl, I'm going to have to get through the father, so I'm just going to follow around Carlton for a day.
And you know, I think this was the pure Carlton moment right here. This is where Carlton was happy, Uncle Phil was happy, and Will was just so focused that it didn't matter. Like, never once did he not try and be Carlton. This is the one time being Carlton might get him what he wants.
Well, it also sets up, because this is the first time that Carlton has actually had anything to do in the series. Like, up until this point, it's like, I am just going to be very flabbergasted at everything Will does, because in my opinion, he's just ruining the fabric of America. And finally, we have him there for the purpose which he was always put there for, which was to be a foil to Will. To be the exact opposite. And then we find ourselves being introduced to that in the weirdest way by having Will try to be Carlton.
Oh, that plaid.
Well, hey, it wasn't the ashy paisley.
No, I'm sorry. It's the ashy floral print
I'm sorry.
dresses.
The muted floral.
It had some life luster to it. Just
The shades of pink. All of the shades of pink.
50 Shades of Salmon.
In the true country club manner.
That's what it was. 50 Shades of Salmon.
With shoulder pads.
So it treats us to a montage of Will trying to be Carlton in as many ways as possible. He tries to sit like Carlton. He tries to move like Carlton. He tries to dress like Carlton. He tries to wear a bow tie like Carlton, and that gives us the inevitable gag of him choking himself with a bow tie. And as you said before, Uncle Phil gets involved, Jeffrey gets involved, and they know that he is ready to be a true country club nerd when he knows which one the shrimp fork is.
The shrimp fork.
I don't know why that was so hard, because the shrimp fork is just the tiniest fork. I don't know why you just can't say, because he would probably just say, why didn't you just tell me that? Why don't we just call it the tiny fork? Why do we got to call it the shrimp fork?
Most people look at eating utensils like forks and spoons as just for everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, when I look at a fork, I don't say, now, is this a chicken fork or is this more a lamb fork? You know, I'm not sure.
You obviously don't know cutlery.
You know.
I mean, I approach it, start from the outside, work your way in.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
I see food, I see cutlery, ergo, fork, knife, spoon. I use fork, knife, spoon, and eat the food that's on the plate.
In other news, Lorenzo is hungry.
Well, you know, and this is probably why I haven't been to a country club. Maybe I need Country Club 101 before I go there.
Some etiquette classes?
No, I've had those too. And it didn't make sense to me why there was different forks for different foods.
So you just want to eat.
I mean, if you're going to put the food on the plate, what does it matter if you bring a small fork or a big fork. Because if I don't have a small fork, I'm just supposed to wait for it to eat my shrimp.
Well, what's clear above all else is you're clearly not dating Mimi.
Yeah.
This is true, and because I'm not from the streets.
You're not from the streets, and you're not a country club man.
No, I'm definitely not quite from the hood, but not quite from the burbs. So I'm in a weird gray area here.
Okay. Well, you can tell us then, when Will actually goes into the country club and has his persona, he takes on the name Kip Smithers.
Well, Smithers first.
Yes.
Smithers.
Kip Smithers.
Is that like Bond, James Bond?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's kind of what they were going for, and it failed. No, nothing starts out good with Smithers.
No. But obviously someone was a very big Simpsons fan.
Had to be.
Because well, his last name is Smith. Let's just call him Smithers. Why did he need a false name in the first place? That's what I couldn't figure out.
I think it might have had to be an ego thing. There is no way Will could go that Carlton by being Will. He had to be somewhere else.
He could have said William.
No, it's too close.
Willard.
Willis?
Well,
that's just
Willis?
too close.
How many Willises do you know that go to a country club?
Bruce.
Boom.
Fair enough. All right.
We only need one, people. We're easy.
All right. I admit my failing there. Okay.
It's quite all right. But, Kip Smithers, I don't think you can get more young Republican than that.
Yeah, that's terrible.
No. I mean, Reince Priebus. That's about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That gets the Magna Carta award of name.
I wish we had a video camera so you could see the facial expression that I have given this man.
That person was born
in
a cable knit sweater and shorts. They didn't have hair. They just came out in a full-on Ralph Lauren outfit.
Yeah. That's and this person is real?
This person is real. This person currently is the chairman of the GOP. The Republican National Committee. He exists.
Oh, okay.
So Kip Smithers.
Well, this is what's amazing to me, because we have to keep going back to this, is the fact that even as Kip Smithers, Will nails it. He is really charming. He really does play the role well, and he rolls with the punches. Shaft asks him, "Oh, okay, you want to be a thoracic surgeon. What's your favorite part of surgery?" He's like,
the cutting.
"Oh, that's my favorite too."
Yeah.
And you totally believe him in that scenario.
You can be Carlton for spurts. It works for about a couple of hours without being nauseous.
Well, it's like anything else. If you look like Will, you can get away with acting like Carlton.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
If you wear enough pastel colors, maybe?
No, because Will wears pastel colors on his own.
No. He wears day glow. Day glow and pastel are two different things, especially in the 90s.
It's just all bright. It's all bright. But the 90s were just a very bright era, and then when you felt like being muted, you put on a suit, and it was gray.
Which is what Uncle Phil did. He threw on a nice navy blazer over his yellow knit sweater.
Color. Technicolor.
Pop of color.
Oh, yeah. Young Republicans, we can't get too fancy now.
No.
So, after Dr. No approves of Kip Smithers, Mimi then looks at him and says, "I want someone from the streets."
I don't get this. If you are in a position where she was, got everything going for her, I get wanting a little variety, but that much of the extreme? Why? What is the interest?
I mean, I was about to ask you, because you are the female commentary,
True. I mean, I get her being bored and wanting a little spice and excitement, but you want Tyrone Biggums?
No, I think she just wanted Tyrone.
She just wanted Tyrone?
Just Tyrone. Any Tyrone, not Biggums.
A Malik?
Yeah, Tyrone, Malik.
I'm gonna make a shank out of a toothbrush real quick. That
exhilaration. I guess so.
Nah, I mean, I'd be afraid they'd jack my pearls. Hey, baby, come here.
The irony of it is that she clearly has no idea what
Not
it
at
means to be
all.
from the streets, because Will then very authentically shows that he grew up in West Philadelphia.
Exactly.
He had somewhat of a rough upbringing, and that's what brought him to Bel Air in the first place.
And he tried to get a cosign from Carlton, and he totally went the other way.
Yep, Carlton just said, nope, you are Kip Smithers. I accept you as nothing else in this world.
I think
have
he started to
created my-
believe in his own monster that he created.
He created his own little brother. That was awesome.
You can't
for him.
call him a mini-me because
he created his own brethren. I'm sorry.
Brethren?
Brethren.
Brethren.
That would make Carlton feel cooler. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he did say, jolly good time. The wink and the gun.
If you're Carlton, you probably much prefer Kip Smithers to having Will, who he has already expressed he believes is destroying their family.
Yeah.
He wanted another clone in the house.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's definitely what they leaned heavy on. Like The Rock heavy on. Like, hey, we're going to turn Will into Carlton right now. You going to keep watching? Yeah. Yeah, you are.
I did notice that from an actor's point of view, from working with 4-camera comedies, they either looked at the camera when they weren't supposed to, or didn't cheat out so that they could see their face. So it was either a really hard side profile when I wasn't supposed to see that, which was, of course, back in that time, a lot of big hairspray, curly 90s hair and shoulder pads, or I saw you looking at the camera when you weren't supposed to. You're supposed to be looking at Will.
This was in the days of standard definition. You know, it's like if you had a 27-inch TV, you were a baller.
Yeah.
You know, now we're going back and we're watching these episodes in their original form, and now we're seeing all of these things because we're used to 40-inch, 50-inch, 70-inch. It's going to be a little more prevalent, and that's something that in today's sitcoms you really can't get away with.
No, you cannot get away with that at all.
And later on in the series, they actually intentionally built a bigger set so that they would have the room to bring the cameras in, to slide them around, and they basically just gave them a whole new house. They didn't talk about it, but they gave them a whole new house.
Uncle Phil got a raise. Nobody told you that.
Yep, he became a partner at Firth, Wind and Meyer.
So like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's exactly what it was a parody of.
You know.
Quincy Jones loves his Earth, Wind, and Fire, and he just made a joke right there, right off the bat. And so just between the seasons, we just assume he came in and he said, Vivian, we're going to move into a hotel for 2 months, and we're going to gut out the entire living room and kitchen and make it bigger. And you know what she probably said? Okay. And so it was. And they didn't say anything about it because that is going to become the way that this show ultimately works. It's like, oh, yeah, we got a new Aunt Viv. We're not going to say anything about it.
No, they made some jokes about it.
They made...
When people caught on.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Okay,
I'm sorry.
we're going too far.
When people let them know
ahead.
they caught on. Anyways, let's bring it back in.
So, Will decides, all right, I've invested in this. I am not giving up so easily. If she wants street, I am going to give her street. Now,
polar opposite.
His version of street was clearly what she thought street was, which I'm pretty sure he was inspired by Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block.
Yes.
I was going to say a little bit of West Side Story with,
I'm doing a snapping motion right now with the Jets and the Sharks.
Yeah, because it was a lot of gyration.
I didn't know. Will had some kind of swagger to him, but he didn't even give you that when he was portraying the super street thug guy. Even his dancing was still like a rougher Carlton. Like it wasn't even all that great. It wasn't.
Kip is Carlton Jr.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
We will continue to touch on Will's dancing because it evolves as the show goes, because we have seen quite a bit of it so far.
Yeah, and in this episode, he did a lot.
Yeah, and we will continue to see it. We've got a ton of videos of Will dancing on our Instagram.
So fresh.
So Prince, at So Fresh, So Prince.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing, though, because he doesn't even come close to being a gangster.
Not at all.
And she falls for it immediately. It's like, she just like, oh my, how did I not know?
He's a killer, Daddy, and I loves him.
And that's not verbatim, but that's pretty much what it said, you know.
Exactly.
You can go back and watch the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what Will then has to do is he pulls a Flintstone, like the episode where Fred has to be at the lodge and Pebble's birthday party at the same time. So then he tries to be Kip Smithers and Kip Smithers all at the same time.
Killer Kip.
Exactly. Killer Kip. He tries to be both at the same time, and he immediately gets caught.
Yeah.
And that is the fastest surrender that I have ever seen for something that had so much effort put into it. He's like, I'm going to spend all this time. I'm going to learn how to be Carlton. Okay, I can't be Carlton. I'm going to go and I'm going to be a hardcore version of myself. And I'm just going to go as gangster as I possibly can. And then after about 3 minutes, he's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Bel Air is completely new to Will at this point.
Yeah,
so,
he's
you know,
trying to figure out where he fits in.
You know, I mean, if you're on a ship and it's sinking fast, I think you're just going to get off that ship. You know, I think that's really what happened. I mean, it's the quintessential father meeting guy who's trying to take out his daughter. It just happened in fast forward. And he said, you know what? I can see where this is going. I'm done.
But he wasn't done because he immediately sees a beautiful woman walk past. Just as he's saying, ain't no honey worth all this trouble, he immediately proceeds to follow this woman and then pursue her.
Yo, baby, yo, baby, yo.
Has anyone ever said yo, baby, yo to you, Giovonnie?
Jokingly, yes.
Because the other thing that Mimi requests of Kip is rap for me.
Oh, yeah. Rap for me, baby. Give me one of those explicit... What was it? Explicit lines?
Explicit lines from 2 Live Crew.
Yeah.
You know.
And how often do you request this of the men that you date?
0.
0?
Yeah.
No 2 Live Crew?
Nah. No, today's version of 2 Live Crew is right up there with Stevie J. What is that? Is that about right? No, I'm cool.
Okay, as long as you're working with it.
Nah.
I just like, but it just kind of reeks of what a 30-year-old white guy thinks that a 17-year-old black girl would ask for.
You know, it's like he said, you know what, this is how the youth in South Central are talking. But the last time he was in South Central was like 1978. So like the closest he knows to thuggery is the Warriors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
About to play.
I mean, it's a great movie, but let's not forget that was directed by Tony Scott, who, I mean, he's Order of the British Empire, not South Central.
I mean, but that's probably where they were drawing it from. That and maybe like a little bit of Shaft, you know. I mean,
well, yeah,
know.
you had.
When you have
him
Shaft,
there.
you must shaft.
You take a
You
little
got to
bit
shaft
of
the
Shaft.
shaft.
Pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's okay. We'll just cut that out right there. Nobody listen to that. Don't go back. Just let it happen. See, the theme of this is just let it happen.
Be yourself and let it happen.
You know, you jest, and yet a lot of this first season is just let it happen.
Just let it happen.
I'm trying to tell you, you get stuck on the mustache. You get stuck on everybody trying to turn Will into Carlton.
Get stuck on the people looking at the camera when they're not supposed to.
Yeah, you just got to let it happen. It gets better, people. It gets better.
Oh, poor Ashley.
I mean,
I forgot about her. She was only in like one scene.
But Ashley isn't quite there yet. We've just met Ashley.
Well, you also just discovered who Carlton really is, too.
Yeah, I mean...
And I'm not sure we like this.
You don't really have enough time or character development yet to have a full A story that involves Carlton and a full B story that involves Ashley. You don't do that in 4 episodes. And it's unfortunate because initially when a show is conceived, it's like, okay, we've got this lead. and we got to figure out exactly who this lead character is. And then once we figure out who this lead character is, then we can figure out who everyone else is and give them more to do. Unless you find a scenario where it's like, okay, there's nothing we can do with this lead character. Let's just find more stuff to do with the other characters.
Well, that's what they did in this one, too, because, it started out with Hillary and Vanna, as you say, and then it started with Phil and Firth, doing the same kind of heckle roast on in the country club. I'm not sure if it quite worked, but, it definitely did set up the Banks family values a little bit. Just by a little bit, though.
And we are kind of learning who they are, but what's interesting about it is we haven't seen as much of the heart of the Banks family as we would like to see.
I would say the only person that has heart or that's somewhat of a moral compass is Aunt Viv, because she was the only one that was like, hey,
But she gave the worst advice of everyone because she
said, be yourself?
Yeah, because what happened, they get back to the house, Hillary has her monologue where she talks about how cute Tom Cruise was, and then Will says, I saw this beautiful woman, I was myself, and what happened? It got me punched in the eye by her boyfriend. So clearly the moral of this is nothing good comes from being yourself. Either that or the writers were like, well, we just need a cutaway gag to end this episode somehow because it was such a dud. So we're just going to give Will a black eye. What do you guys think? And then everyone's kind of nods like, yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
I think I can do that.
The room full of 40-year-old Jews who at the time were probably smoking a lot of pot. It was like, yes, this is a good idea.
And of course, Aunt Viv can't be right.
Of course not. There's a reason that she well, fired.
Which we do not know. I'm going to be the disclaimer. We can't let some things happen, that'll be stricken from the record.
But I'm ultimately fascinated by this episode because this is probably, of the 3 episodes that we've watched so far, this is the weakest. This didn't have a lot going on because we still don't know who Carlton is yet. We kind of know who Uncle Phil and Will and Aunt Viv are. We've got somewhat of a handle on Ashley, but this was mostly a filler episode to kind of set up the relationship between Will and Carlton and who Will was ultimately going to be within the Bel Air world. Yeah. But having to do that in a 22-minute episode was a little rough.
Well, they also focused a lot on trying to make Hillary. They really tried to give those little 1 or 2 liners to make Hillary Banks. But it just didn't work.
It feels almost like a Saturday Night Live character that has all these different callbacks. And they've basically had Hillary do the exact same thing in every episode. She comes in, she says something pretentious, and then shows herself to be vapid. I'm not impressed yet. Now, we know that ultimately she is going to get some character. She is going to be needed comic relief. Actually, we don't know that because we've only watched 3 episodes so far. But we have to hope that that's ultimately what's going to happen. And it would have been nice if they had taken a little bit of time and given some of that to Ashley. But that's not something that you just figure out right off the bat.
I just, like I said, I felt bad because I forgot about Ashley. They could have gave her at least something. Nothing?
She was standing behind Carlton at one point.
She was the cute factor. That was it. She was just like, hi, okay.
The cute little sister?
Yeah.
That's all she needed to be. She had, 5 lines total?
But haven't you seen that plan? Has that ever happened to you where it's like, okay, you're in a show, you're a member of the ensemble, and they want you in the episode, but they don't know what to do with you. But they like you and they want you there. There's a lot of that goes on in the sitcom world.
Yes, it does. A lot. So much so where I'm going to be a terrible person by saying this. That has happened, and I learned my lines the day that I was supposed to shoot because I knew I'm just there as a glorified extra. I'm just there to be cute. So I probably will only have 2 or 3 lines, and I'm sure I can look at it right before it's time to shoot.
I'm guessing that if you're a professional actor, actress, learning 12 lines isn't rocket science, right? So that doesn't make you a bad person. That just makes you prepared.
No, I've had 2 lines in the entire episode, but I was in at least 4 or 5 scenes. I only had 2 lines. It was yes, and I don't think that's a good idea. That was it.
Okay, wait. See, that's under 10. That doesn't make you a bad person. You could have had that stapled on the back of a camera or something like that.
I mean, and if they're going to basically make you the Chrissy in Three's Company, where you're just going to kind of show up at the end and have 5 lines, if you can learn the script the day of, I think that just shows you to be a professional, not a bad person.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I will take the compliment. I don't recommend you get into that habit as an actor, but yes, that's what it was. At that point, it was just like, okay, I'm here.
And that is the beauty of the sitcom world, because when you have an ensemble cast in that way, you do have episodes where someone has to pick up more slack than other people.
Right.
But what ultimately ends up happening is within an ensemble, you just kind of figure out how everyone works together, and you put them together so ultimately everyone gets to do everything. Just like in Family Guy, you figure out Brian and Stewie, they belong together. You put them together. You get Peter and Lois together. As long as you're not trying to do like an A story, a B story, and a Q story, you can make everything work and just put people together. And everyone gets their fair share of screen time. But until you know what those roles are, you can't figure that out. So you kind of have to have those moments where Ashley just shows up to be cute.
2 lines and that's it. Yeah, and you bring up a very valid point, because that's pretty much what my character was. They didn't know what to do with you.
They liked you.
They liked me.
And they found things to do.
They found 6 words for you to say. That's how important you were for that day.
Hey, I'll take the check.
Giovonnie Samuels, actor.
That is the new mantra.
Hey, I'll take the check.
Yeah. But here's the biggest crime in this whole episode. You had Shaft and you didn't let him have any Shaft moments.
Yeah.
Like he was Dr. No.
Yeah.
But that's not even the tip of the iceberg. That's like an ice cube. Shout out to O'Shea. But anyways, you didn't even let him have a 30-second, not even a 15-second Shaft moment. Like,
well, not only that, his character was just very, no, that's it. Like, he could have done something, at least got a laugh in or anything.
Not
like, they
even
didn't do anything with his character.
That is the perfect moment to see Shaft's parenting advice. Like, if Shaft had a child and was at a country club, I'm pretty sure Shaft, how do you parent? I feel like that would be a great Black Dynamite moment.
Dynamite.
As you know, when you get an actor cast in a role, sometimes you're not actively building that role around him. It's just like, we can get Richard Roundtree, and we already have this role written in the episode. It's like
a plug-in.
There are very few sitcoms that are like, we got Jimmy J.J. Walker, so we're going to have him blow something up and yell dynamite.
And then again, I'm not sure people were trying to book Jimmy J.J. Walker at the time.
Exactly. Just like people aren't trying to book Bill Cosby today.
Oh.
Well,
Too soon?
Too soon?
No, yeah. I mean, that's another podcast. That's another podcast.
It's okay. We'll always have Cliff Huxtable.
Yes. Yes, we will.
No pudding pups, please.
Well, I mean, we can just be happy about the fact that we never had a Cosby Show Fresh Prince crossover. We just got the
thank God.
Family Matters Fresh Prince crossover.
Yeah, and
We'll put it up on our social media sites. There's a great episode where little Ricky runs in and with his friend, and then the friend says, "You're right, your Uncle Carl does look like the dad from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air."
Yeah.
And then in the outtakes, they show that scene again, and then all of a sudden James Avery runs in.
Aww.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant.
Hey, it's 90s TV.
Yeah.
Anything. Look, 90s TV was pure cheese.
Yep.
It was pure cheese, and we ate it all up.
Yes, it was definitely Velveeta cheese.
Uh,
Yeah, that kind of cheese.
Okay, not even Kraft macaroni and cheese.
No,
Nope. Just
straight Velveeta.
Okay. Well, we still ate it, and we're still alive, and we enjoy it.
Had this show been in today's time, what do you think it would be?
I mean, I think that honestly, this show does exist today. It's evolved, and you can see the sprinklings of the seeds in Empire, primarily because you've got a very well-to-do family that is more than just a caricature. Because as the show goes on, we see these characters less as archetypes and more as actual people. And if you look at Empire at the moment, you have these very well drawn out, very smart characters who are simultaneously trying to navigate what it is like to be a family inside of a business world.
Okay.
You know? I mean, I think we are in a very interesting time when it comes to sitcoms because we basically have two kinds. We have the sitcoms that are still trying to be according to Jim, and then we have the ones that recognize that we live in a Louis C.K. world. So the ones that are willing to push that envelope a lot more and have a little bit of a darker humor are the ones that really represent what we are today. Now, at the same time, I have seen David Alan Grier in Bad Teacher.
I mean, but that they're trying to bring back what the whole 90s block had. It was just comedy week. It wasn't like comedy hour or like comedy Wednesday. It was just comedy week. Like, that was what the 90s was. It was just cheeky jokes. And whatever passed is what they kind of built on.
But to some degree, going back to Empire, we live in a world now where I don't necessarily know The Fresh Prince would have worked because it was pure entertainment, but it wasn't necessarily must-see TV. And since we have so many options in this world today, we might not necessarily have a show like this last, because with what we're getting right now and them still having so much trouble figuring out who these people are and getting episodes like this, which are very weak, it may not have made it past its initial 13 episodes.
Yeah, you're right.
Were it not for the charm of Will Smith, that is.
I think the only show right now that's doing well, that's not as extreme as Empire, would be Blackish. I like it's comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a full camera show, but it still has that trying to figure out where they are in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Well, I would say that Blackish is more of a relic of the current time that we're in because it's doing something that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air couldn't do and that the Cosby Show couldn't do, which was have an entire focus on what it is like to be black in white America. Cosby Show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they are showing black people in white America, but the emphasis is not what it is like to be black in America. It is what it is like to be people who happen to be black in America, whereas Blackish, the entire premise of the series is we are black.
But I would still say that that's the closest thing to an updated version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay, so
as far as like it being, comedic and still having a good sense, I would say the later years of Fresh Prince, not this season.
Well, I mean, this is just the start,
Understandable, but what it was for that time to where it is today, I would say that's a pretty good comparison.
So who wins in a fight? Anthony Anderson or James Avery?
Come on now, really?
Oh, come on, you can't put Uncle Phil.
I'll sit on you.
Right. Where would you put Uncle Phil? I would say who would win in a dance-off between Will and Anthony?
I think that would be equally bad.
Like, I just imagine Anthony Anderson busting out the robot, and
Like,
nothing good would come of that.
You know how they said I'm going to choose the lesser of two evils? I don't even think that's an option here. I think everybody loses in that.
I think that would be an epic dance battle because it's so bad.
Yeah, but nobody would win, though.
There would have to be a winner.
Really, though?
No, there would only be a loser, and that would be the audience. Like, but I agree with you in the sense that while there is not really a Will character in Blackish, you can see the daughter has remnants of Hillary. You can see the son has remnants of Carlton.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
You have the cute factor of the babies.
And then you have the parents who show up and cause trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because parents really don't know anything.
Of course not.
They just don't understand.
You just don't understand.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
If you could see my face right now, it'd be one of judgment.
Look, you focused on the mustache. I get that one pass, okay?
Touche. So, Giovonnie, did we learn anything in this episode?
Be yourself.
And you will get punched in the eye.
And you'll get punched in the eye.
Or how about this? Don't chase country club girls. Huh?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, let me pose the question to you this way. What would you say the weakest part of this episode was?
Gosh, there's so many.
How about let's start this again?
Gosh, woo. I'd say most of the episode was a montage. A good chunk of the episode was mostly filled with montages. It didn't. I mean, yeah, it got the point across, like, oh, we're gonna show you comedic moments of him trying to be a gentleman and not so ignorant or whatever. And it didn't. I think that was a missed opportunity for some character development.
It feels like it should have been an hour-long script that got cut down to a half-hour piece.
Right.
I'm with you there. Okay. So, in the future, know for all you aspiring writers who are listening to this podcast, remember to tell the story in the time that you have allotted and don't try to cram too many stories in.
And don't try and make Carlton your main focus.
Until you know who Carlton is.
Yeah, character development is so big. Like, I will bring back to the Empire. Mm-hmm. Episode 1, you knew or had a very strong sense of who these characters were. Mm-hmm. From episode 1.
Well, more than that, I mean, you knew right off the bat you were in a King Lear scenario. I mean, but going back to the pilot of this episode, all you knew was Will was a fish out of water, and you didn't know, were wacky hijinks going to ensue? Were there going to be tender moments between Uncle Phil and Will and Aunt Viv? And you didn't know exactly where it was going. And
well, neither did the writers. Neither did the writers.
Because and that's a lot more what the show was. Like, all right, what if we took Will Smith and put him in a mansion in Bel Air? Well, what else is going to happen? No. We take Will Smith and we put him in a mansion in Bel Air.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's like there's a guy, he'll be like, he'll say something like, okay, the world is about to end and you have a Costco card. What do? Go. I felt like that's how the writers wrote the whole episode. They just threw jokes on the wall and said, okay, we're keeping that one. All right. Go.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of great concept, bad execution.
Yeah.
Family Guy is written by manatees. If you haven't seen that episode of South Park, you should watch it. It's
just watch more TV every now and again.
Yeah.
And then listen to our podcast and tweet at us. Thank you to all of our new Instagram followers, all our new Twitter followers. We love you. We've been posting plenty of stuff from the show onto our Instagram and Twitter and Facebook page and Tumblr. So please follow us, tweet at us, let us know what your favorite moments are. And be sure, go on to iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, favorite us, like us, rate us 5 stars. Let us know that you're there, because we love doing this for you.
And for ourselves, Mainly for you, though. Mainly for you.
Yeah, we're clearly not having any fun doing this whatsoever.
Oh, you guys, I've had a ball tonight.
Well, you got to come in on the Carlton.
Yeah, you guys gave me an episode.
So here's the $1 million question.
You gave me an episode.
Here's the $1 million question, and I think this is what everybody wants to know: Kip or Carlton? Ugh. It's the end of the world, and you got to choose somebody
to kill. Or to eat, or what? Like, what?
I think we've got our answer. But no. You know, to be the lovely companion.
Oh,
you're Mimi, and you got to choose one. Dr. No is dead.
Shaft got the shaft.
Shaft got the shaft, and I'm stuck with. Man, I don't know if Carlton would survive. He's too short. I'm already short. It's not gonna work. But I can't stand Kip's grin.
You gotta choose one.
I guess Will it is.
No.
I'm sorry.
Kip
Smithers.
Kip Smithers. See, Carlton was the focus of this episode, and he didn't even get the date at the end, and he still didn't get the date now. He just lost in this episode. You don't set the main focus of your episode up to lose. That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
But he lost so that Will could ultimately win.
That was his job.
Yeah.
He's always the setup man, no matter what.
Okay. So he's the one who takes one for the team?
He always takes one for the team.
Oh, okay.
Not always. In the future, I feel like Carlton is going to ultimately...
Well, yeah, Carlton's character definitely everybody's character definitely gets developed, but... we're basing it off of just this episode 3. That's it. That is your job. You are the setup man. It's setup, joke, and you don't get the laugh. Well, you get.
He gets the laugh. They just laugh at him.
Yeah.
That's all. Huh? You're laughing with me. We're laughing.
I'm glad that he tones down that voice, because it annoys the crap out of me. I can't stand that voice of his, that facade he puts on.
That young Republican thing. And you're correct. It went away more as the episode went on. And hopefully we'll see less of it in the future.
Man, it's just I get that it was supposed to be cheesy, but everything was overkill.
And in time, these characters won't be archetypes anymore, but for the moment, they're getting better, and we still have Will's charm, and we still have a lot more to learn about who these people are. And with that, thank you so much for listening.
As always.
Giovonnie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We'll have you back.
Yes, please do.
And thank you for picking Kip and not Carlton. That shows you have wonderful taste in
Yeah, but your baby's going to have some huge ears.
Oh, man. Well, at least they'll be tall.
Medium
I'm
height.
Short.
Medium height. He's tall, you're short. So
I couldn't. Carlton and I are the same height. Like, that's a problem. I can't have my kids coming out like midgets. That's not okay. I'm 5'1". He is probably 5'2". That's a problem.
Well,
And on that note, everyone, thank you for listening. And remember, everyone, keep your day so fresh,
so Prince.
So Fresh, So Prince is a Bitten from the Apple production, produced by Andrew Apple and Lorenzo Gordon. Music by Griffey Majors.